So Jamie, there was obviously a lot of speculation about casting of the film initially.
Yeah.
What made you say yes?
I really believed in it, and I thought, I saw it as it's an amazing opportunity to already have like a big fan base and a load of people who care about the characters. You don't often start in that position with a film. It's a level of unknown with a lot of movies and a lot of television. You don't know what your audience is going to be, but with this, we already knew that we had. It's a very powerful position to be in. That 100 million people read the books, and that excited me. I thought that was cool, and I had a lot of trust in the people making it, and Focus and Universal, good track record, both of those studios, and anything they've done together. I was a big fan of Sam's and the team that she put together, from our DP to our costume designer and our production designer. And I just thought, I also really wanted to tackle this character. He really intrigued me, and he's a very complicated guy. And I was sort of, don't consider myself complicated, but I'm often drawn to characters who are a bit, misunderstood or, conflicted.
And where is your character Christian Grey in his life when we first meet him in the film, and how's he affected by meeting Anastasia Steele?
Well, he's kind of, got it down in terms of like he's at the pinnacle of his career. He's always looking to further his business, but he is as successful as you can be in that world. In terms of how he approaches love and relationships, it's quite clear, that he is only comfortable in a dominant, submissive environment. And I think any submissives he's had have all been very much on his terms, and they've signed the contract and they've done whatever it is that he wants to do, as long as they've signed the contract and it's consensual. And then he meets Anna, who, stands up to him and answers back and questions why he is the way he is, and that rocks him. I don't think he's ever met anyone like that who's had the sort of audacity or the bravery to like stand up to him and question him, and he's massively intrigued by that and amazed by that, and I think he loves her, and essentially, and is willing to change all these aspects that are so ingrown. He changes for her, which is a pretty massive thing.
And what opportunity was there to spend time with Dakota Johnson before you started filming, just to get comfortable with one another?
Yeah, not a huge amount of time. I mean, we met when I auditioned. She was obviously already cast, and I auditioned, but that was about 6 weeks before we started filming. And then my wife was heavily pregnant at the time, so we had to get out to Vancouver early because she couldn't fly after a certain date. So we were off, a week later, and Dakota lives in LA, so she wasn't there until 2 weeks before. We had rehearsal time the week before and everything, but then my baby came in the middle of that, so that sort of scuppered all that. But all the stuff where we really needed to have trust in each other, and all the most sort of vulnerable moments for Dakota were the Red Room stuff, and that was all right at the end of the shoot. So that was after, what would it be, nearly 3 months of being together. So we'd really built up that trust for each other by then, which I thought was smart to plan it that way.
And what reservations, if any, did you have about shooting those scenes, and what was the reality of it like?
By the time you come to shoot those scenes, you know what you're in for. You're not shocked. You're not getting the sides in your trailer in the morning going, "Oh God, no idea that was happening." You're well equipped for it, and you've had plenty of talks with Sam and Dakota about how to approach it and how we're going to make everyone feel comfortable, and it's all very professional, and it's work, and it's choreographed, and it's there's lots of people have an opinion on it, and lots of people have a say on what you're allowed to do and what you can't do, and you move too far to the right and you're not in the light anymore, so you can't do that, and it's all very it's quite finicky.
And speculation about the film has been sort of feverish. To what extent have you been sort of kept away from that outside noise, or kept yourself away from likes of Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. I went, when I got the part, I used to be fairly active on Twitter, and then when I got the part, I deleted Twitter off my phone, because I just don't need to see, you only search for the negatives, I just felt I didn't need to see it, and then I got back on again because I had to do a couple like Q&As and stuff. One for the fall and one for this, and I've stayed on, but I actually deleted it again off my phone yesterday because it's just doesn't help anyone. And also, I'm a father. I don't want to be sat on my phone all the time when my baby wants to play with me. So I thought it was good just to get rid.
And I love the helicopter and the glider sequences. Yeah. How close to the pilot seat did you get for those?
I mean, I was very much in the pilot seat for both, but but there's a green screen around us, and obviously they wouldn't let me, and there wasn't enough time for me to go and get my license for either a helicopter or a glider. But great fun to do both. I'm not one of those guys who's like really into toys and stuff like that and cars, but it was good fun all the same.
And what contact did you have with E.L. James, or did you just go back to the novel itself?
How mean, Erica was a producer on the film. She was there every day, so the way the film set is set up, and they've got a little tent for the director and for the director of photography and script supervisor all in one tent, and then you've got another tent with the producer's tent, which might be just right beside, or just down the hall, or just out in the field, wherever it is you're filming. So she was always close by, which is really great to have that, and as much as at the end of the day it's Sam's vision and it's Sam who's making the film, but it's great to have Erica to draw upon when we need her, because no one knows the characters better than her, obviously.
And we see Christian take his early morning runs in the movie. What was your own fitness regime for the role? Yeah,
I struggled with that, mate. I did, because I usually keep myself pretty fit. But the onus, I only found out I was cast 4 weeks before we started filming, so it wasn't really a huge amount of time for the physical stuff. And obviously tried to maintain it as we were filming, but schedules didn't allow a huge amount of that. But I had to put on to beef up a bit. Really, I think it was the thing, because my sort of default setting is pretty thin, so. I had lots of protein shakes in the gym when I could, but I struggled with the running stuff, because usually I'd run quite a lot, and because we were focusing so much on putting on weight, I didn't do any cardio. And even those, like, I know it looks like in the film there's not much running, but that is actually a whole day of me running around, and it was I was wrecked. I was dragging my heels by the end of it.
And the film's released just in time for Valentine's Day.
Right.
Yeah. To what extent do you see it as a love story, perhaps a slightly unconventional one? But
no, I totally see it as a love story. I mean, look, I've said this a couple of times in interviews, where it's like you can't sustain people's interest over 3 fairly long books based on just S&M sex. I mean, people aren't that stupid. There has to be something at the core and the spine of the stories that threads through all 3, and that's love, and that's these 2 characters who, in quite classic fashion, it's like 2 characters who on paper shouldn't be together and make sacrifices for love, and that's that is definitely at the core of it. So for those reasons, I think it's a love story, and it makes sense for Valentine's Day.
And Christian's not that keen on sort of going to the movies as a date night, but would you recommend that people went to see the film? Is it a date movie?
I do think it's a date movie, and I think I have a feeling this weekend will prove that. I'm sure there's going to be lots of couples watching it, from advanced ticket sales alone and stuff like that. That looks to be the case. So, they have ways and means of tracking this kind of thing. So, I think there'll be lots of people. As for some of the guys, be honest, they're probably relatively reluctant. But, it could be beneficial to take your girlfriend or wife to see this movie, I think.
Jamie Dornan, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.